Thanks for joining me today. I'm John McDonald from JM Run Coach. Today is just a short video, and I wanted to talk about going longer than 26 miles in your marathon training. For me, it's something I've been doing for the last number of years. It has proven successful in my training, and I'll explain why I think it's a good idea. It does accomplish a few really specific things, and I'll go through that here. Let me just first say, sometimes in my training blocks, I'll go as far as 28 miles, and often I will go up to 31 or 50K. For me, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I just enjoy being out up in the mountains on the trails and running for a long time and just enjoying being outdoors. It has got a lot of benefits beyond the running scene and beyond my running training. And, for one thing, mental clarity, mental health, which is why running has been such an important part of my life for so long. So that's one reason that I like it, but that's not the main reason. I have 8 reasons why I think running longer than marathon distance is a really good tool to have when training for a marathon, especially if you are trying to get over a specific threshold that you haven't been able to hit. If you've been trying to break 3 and you're just getting close, and you're just not getting there, or perhaps you have maybe you're training for a Boston qualifier, you need 320, and you're just hitting 320, 321, and you want to get down into the 3 teens, the 317, 16. This could be a really useful tool. It is a single run, and it is a big commitment. But for me, I love it. All right, so probably the number one reason that I think it's a good idea is because it improves muscular endurance. You're putting your legs under more stress for more time. Now, it's important that if you experience any injury type of pain, that you just need to stop. And you don't go from running a 20 miler to running a 30 miler overnight, right? So 20, 22, 24. I would say if you've hit 24, 25, you're safe enough to go that next bit and get up to 28. But don't just jump, 8 miles more than you've ever ran before in one jump. So it's important to build up to that tolerance. But it does build muscular endurance. You're on your feet that much longer. You're putting your legs under that much more stress. You're building fatigue, and you're building resistance to the fatigue. So you do need to incorporate more recovery until your body can adapt to running that distance. And, for me, I don't really require that much recovery because I do a 50K distance a few times a year. And I do long runs on a regular basis. So over the course of a training block, I will probably have up to 8 20+ milers, and I will have at least one run over the marathon distance. So recovery for me is remarkably quick. I mentioned in my last video, I came back 3 days after my 50K this time, and I ran 11 miles at race pace, which for me is, I'm over the moon because it really sets me up nicely. I know I'm in a good place now. So number one, it builds muscular endurance. Number two, and this is a massive, massive one for me, is it builds mental toughness. For many of us, the mental game is the hardest bit of any training regime, any racing, right? We get to mile 21, 22, 23, and we are ready for this marathon to be over. But when you've ran 31 miles, that 20, 21, 22, it doesn't seem all that daunting, right? We are able to push through a whole lot easier because we've done things much harder than that. That, for me, is huge, that mental toughness. and being comfortable being uncomfortable for an extended period of time. So if those last 6 miles are going to take you 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, 50 minutes, an hour, you've already done things much harder than that in your training. So for me, mental toughness is a big part of it. Okay, the third reason I think going over the marathon distance is a useful strategy when training for the marathon is that you can really fine-tune your fueling strategy. When you're on your feet for 4 or 5 plus hours, it is important to be able to get nutrition into you over that extended period. This is a really useful tool to work on that strategy. Not just the gels, but water, electrolytes, anything else that you're going to need. It also gives you practice for how you're going to carry them. If you're testing out new gear, this is a really good time to test it out because you can ditch it somewhere and go back for it later. Or, if it's not working, if it's chafing, there's a lot of useful things to be doing on a long run. And when you have that much more than marathon distance, it just gives you more of an opportunity to work on it. For me, this 50K, I worked on my fueling, I worked on my hydration, I wore my hydration vest. It very useful. All right, the fourth reason that I like it is because not only you working on endurance, but this is really testing your slow twitch muscle fibers, right? You are breaking them down for a long extended period of time. That is the type of session that your weekly long run is achieving. You then train your fast twitch fibers when you're doing your shorter intervals and your speed work. Slow twitch fibers are getting an extended workout here on this type of run. And for me, it has proven to be an effective method. Okay, fifth reason is it's an aerobic workout. Okay, it's building aerobic capacity, aerobic conditioning. This is probably going to be mostly zone 2. You're building those pathways, those mitochondrial pathways from the heart down into the muscles. You're really building that ability to make the most use of oxygen and energy. It's just an opportunity to really work on that kind of adaptation. It's a really good, long aerobic workout. All right, number 6, it prepares you for those hard times in the marathon. So like I mentioned before, there are certain points where you're going to feel like you need to push through. We have mantras and we have mental strategies, and that longer than marathon distance run is a perfect time to work on pushing through those barriers, pushing through those hard points in the marathon. There really isn't anything like it when it comes to other 20, 21, 22, those other long runs. You don't get that opportunity as often because in these last, say, for example, a 31 miler, 50K, that could be 10 miles more than a lot of people will go to in their marathon training. And that extra 10 miles of hard work is an exceptionally useful time to push through those mental barriers. Number 7, it helps your body adapt to the recovery from your other long runs that you're doing, that are coming up. You will recover quicker at some point down the road when your body adapts to this training. So that's why it's important to have a cutback week in the week after or 2 weeks after this type of run. For me, I like to have my cutback week the week after this. So this is my cutback week. I have 2 rest days this week, and it's given me the opportunity to recover quicker for my upcoming 20 milers and endurance sessions. And finally, it's a really good opportunity for your body to adapt to using your glycogen stores much more efficiently. Okay, you're out there for a long time. Now, because it's slow, you're probably burning fat as a fuel more so than your glycogen, but your body will adapt and say, look, we need to hang on to this glycogen because this runner is going to need it. And, your body does adapt to that. So, okay, those are my 8 reasons why I like the longer than marathon run in my training for a marathon. And so far, so good. It has been extremely useful and effective in my training. And, let me know if you think you will take this on, or if this is something that you already do. I'd love to hear your take on it. One last thing I wanted to chat to you about is, have you had a chance to look at the JM Run Coach website? I've got the training logs up. I've got the personal coaching up, and a few free resources on there. And if you've had a chance to browse around, is there anything that I'm missing? Uh, are there any blog posts you'd like to see? I'm seriously considering doing a Q&A, a live Q&A. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. But just curious, if you've had a chance to look at jmruncoach.com, I'd really appreciate some feedback in regards to what it has and what it doesn't have. What is it missing and what do you like about it? Really appreciate it. Okay, that's all I've got for today. As always, happy running, and I'll see you next time.